And then I remember crying out, if there is a God, will he show himself? And then came the miracle, the great central experience of my whole life. The room instantly lit up in a blinding glare of white light. I was seized by an ecstasy such as I had never known. It seemed to me that I then stood on a mountaintop where a great clean wind was blowing. I thought to myself, but this is not air, this is spirit. This is the God of the preacher. How long I remained in this state, I just cannot say. And again, I have no words to describe what it was like. At length, however, I found myself on the bed, but now I was in a new world. A world in which everything was right, despite the wrongs of the world I had been living in. I felt myself filled with the consciousness of the presence of Spirit, of God. A great peace stole over me. And there I laid and reveled in this new and loving consciousness.
Yes.
At length I became truly frightened. I thought I was hallucinating. So I called Dr. Silkworth, told him the story as best I could, and said to him, Doctor, am I hallucinating? Have I gone crazy? He questioned me. And at length he said, no, Bill, he said, you are not crazy. Some great psychic event has occurred. I can feel it. I can see it, but I can't define it. Whatever it is, it's much better than what had you only an hour ago.
Hold on.
And you'd better hold on to what you have. Well, this was great news to me. The next big piece of news came in the form of a book brought to me by my friend Ebby on his next visit. This book was written by William James and was called Varieties of Religious Experience. Though the experiences were of many kinds, I at once saw that they'd had transformed people, and that nearly all of these experiences in this book had to do with people who had found themselves in an utterly hopeless state. A state of mind or existence where there was no way around, under, or over. Well, this was what had happened to me. And in this book I found experiences similar to my own. And best of all, the great William James thought that these experiences had objective reality. Following the reading of this book, there came to me a vision of a chain reaction among alcoholics, in which each recovered man would come to the next, hope in one hand and hopelessness in the other, saying in effect, if you are an alcoholic, you have an obsession that condemns you to drink, an allergy that condemns you to die. Your only resource is a spiritual experience. If then the doctors were quoted upon the hopelessness of the situation, the God of medicine would in effect say to each newcomer, our resources will not bring you back to life. In short and paradoxically, the chances of the alcoholic to recover by the spiritual experience means would be just in proportion to his hopelessness. Yes, the secret would be deflation at depth, using the tools given us by science, the compulsion plus the allergy. Then when one alcoholic carried this message to the next, he could reach the newcomer where he lived, even below consciousness. Then bringing about the deflation, he would create a dependence of the newcomer upon his sponsor, upon a group if there were any, and finally upon God. In some such form, the concept of such a possible chain reaction occurred to me. Leaving the hospital shortly afterward, I joined up with the Oxford groups, and along with Ebby and Roland and 2 or 3 other drunks, we began to work with alcoholics.